Today's video, we're gonna talk about Google Ads for insurance agents/agencies. Here's how to make it profitable for yourself and scalable. So you aren't just doing the bare minimum what the other guys you're actually competing against are gonna do, which is gonna allow you to scale into this stratosphere, okay? So with insurance, it's very competitive. This is absolutely true. However, the deal with Google Ads in today's environment is if you do better than your competition, you will win. You will make the ad spend pay for itself, which you have profit left over to put back into more ad spend, and you will scale. Okay, you just have to understand what it is that's going to give you an edge on your other local or national competition, of which I'm going to give you here on this particular video. So, and of that, I'll give you some personal anecdotes of different insurance companies I personally work for, still working for, using these strategies and how well it works for them. So stay to the end of the video for that information as well. I work with 4 to 5 different insurance companies now, some for consumer insurance, some for business. And so I can tell you definitively how this stuff works inside and out, I feel at this point in time. If you like this video, I've got another video about insurance PPC strategy on other platforms, running ads on YouTube, on the Google Display Network, Facebook, and the like. So make sure you check that out as well. Before I get into this strategy though, in terms of talking about Google Ads, specifically Google search ads, if you don't know who I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for clients on their campaigns in excess of what we charge as far as management fees. We are the only agency who offers any kind of contingency guarantee like this, which should tell you something about the quality of the information on this video. So with that said, getting into it here. Now, what I've done here on this diagram or table, if you want to call it that, is break out the insurance niches into 2 distinct categories, at least when it comes to Google Ads and making your ad spend pay for itself, where you could track everything down to the dollar of the revenue that it's producing, which you absolutely can do. And I'm going to talk a bit about that as well. But your strategies are going to vary based upon what niche you're in, okay? Either if you're in an urgent category or non-urgent, that is the urgency of the actual buyer. Does the person needing the insurance, do they need it now? Or can they screw around and actually get it 3 weeks from now and it really doesn't make any big difference to them if they get it now or 3 weeks from now? And the reason why it's broken down like that I have in terms of the strategy that I have for you here is because when people have urgency to get the insurance, they need less information in order to make their decision. So in that case, it's actually more efficient to run what are known as call-only ads or call-only campaigns, where if you haven't seen it before, there's actually ads you can run on Google where all it is, for the most part, is just a phone number. There's text. Should I say the only thing you can do is click on that phone number to call it. So you're just running your ad to mobile traffic, and the objective there is they click on the phone number to call or they don't call. That's why they call it call-only campaigns. As opposed to if people have plenty of time to make a decision, and I will add to that, if you think that they typically have questions before they buy, which 99% of the time they're going to do that. So we just want to include all insurance niches out there. Then you're going to want search campaigns run, which are text ads there at the top of Google still, but which link to your website. The goal being not to call right away from the ad, but to click on the ad to get more information and then presumably call or fill out a form or go through the checkout to buy your insurance if you could do that on and through your website, okay? So if you are in a situation like, just to give you one example here, car insurance. Somebody needs car insurance, at least high-risk car insurance. They are typically not going to worry about it too much because at the very least, they know they could switch out of it in 6 months, or they're not going to really be using it 6 months or 12 months from now. And they know they need it for sure. And they don't really know the difference between one high-risk car insurance vendor and another. What they're going to be primarily evaluating is, the price and is it affordable, but more so than even that, can they get it right away and is it quick? Because we had multiple people that I've worked with now that do high-risk car insurance, and essentially what people do is they go into the DMV and they realize they have to have high-risk car insurance in order to renew their license. So what do? They break out their phone and they search for high-risk car insurance. And then if we have our call-only ad there, they call it. And because it's the phone number being right then and there, catering to the urgency of the user and the ease of the user to get what they want, we get to click a high percentage of the time. When you do that, the technique I would recommend for you to do, which not everybody's going to have the guts to do it, but you say guaranteed lowest rate or get a free gift card. Or should I say guaranteed lowest rate by itself if you want to just really do this properly and you have the most guts. Why? Because again, really the user only cares about price and speed. Well, when you have something on there that says that you could get the insurance right away, order high risk car insurance, guaranteed lowest rate, you've taken care of everything that they could possibly want. You're going to get the high-risk car insurance now, and it's the lowest rate, which I know what you're saying. You may say, hey, Corey, I don't have the lowest rates. I can't do that. I talk about this all the time on this channel about how, and this is normal. Most people are going to say, I can't say I have the lowest rate, but the reality is you can have guaranteed lowest rate asterisk there if you want to make yourself feel better. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and say guaranteed lowest rate if I want it to work right. And when somebody calls, the first thing I'm going to say on the phone is, thank you for calling XYZ Insurance Agency. We're going to get you a quote for your high-risk car insurance now and get you, signed up. We guarantee you the lowest rate. And if we don't have the lowest rate for you, of course, we guarantee that you will get a $100 Outback Steakhouse gift card for your time or troubles. And they say, okay, do you understand that? Yes. Okay. So we'll start the process, and then you go through the process with them. You're probably saying, well, I'm going to be giving away a lot of gift cards if I do something like that. The reality is, because people think when you say you have the lowest rate and you're going to give them a gift card if you're not the lowest rate, they're just going to assume you have the lowest rate. They're not going to actually go call 2 or 3 or 4 other companies to get quotes from them. And then even if they do, they're going to forget about what you just said, and they're not going to come back and ask for a gift card. What this will do is get people to call at a very, very high rate, because it's a very tempting offer when there's a bunch of stuff on Google when they search for high-risk car insurance, and one of them says guaranteed lowest rate. That's exactly what they want to see and hear. You get to click at 3-4 times the rate as anybody else. And that's all it takes to make the cost per click go down half or a third of what it would be otherwise. It's enough to get, of course, not just 3 times the market share or click share of what you could get in your market, but 10 times, because Google's going to decide to show your ad basically every single time, because you're helping their users get what they want quicker, easier, which means you get more search impression share. That is the higher percentage of the time that your ad could show up, it does show up. And you're going to get in front of also people that are more serious buyers, because they divvy out those ad impressions to people who help their users the most with their, getting a relevant ad that they would want to respond to right away, and conversion rate, that is people book so they don't see them go back to Google and click on something else through frustration. So you end up earning a bunch of different ways once you just have the most compelling thing on Google for them to click on. And then at that point in time, you just got to figure out how to deliver it. Most people think, here's my thing, how do I sell it? Real masters of marketing understand you find out what it is that people want, and then you find a way to actually make it possible. Because once you have that, your advertising just works so easily, because you're just telling people what they want to hear. In this case, they want to hear that you have the lowest rate. You give out an occasional gift card to somebody who does get other quotes and come back, but you're making so much money from the people who don't ask for a gift card. It's just a cost of doing business. So instead of your cost per lead being $60 a lead, it's now $20 a lead, which triples your ROI. But also you're getting, instead of 30 calls a month, you're getting 120 calls a month on top of it. So is giving out 5 gift cards a month worth it? Hell yes, it's worth it. Which, by the way, to make it, to ease your concerns here as well, you can simply say, in order to apply for the gift card, you got to show us proof that you got a quote for less. And then they send you the quote, and then it gives you another time to rebuttal and say, okay, it's lower, but their coverage is not as good. You really want to go with them. And then you could still at least get the sale. For the most part, very few people are going to actually come back and say, I want a gift card. Trust me on this. We do this in a bunch of different markets, not only just insurance, and it works. It's never backfired on us. You get, out of every 10 customers you at worst get 1 gift card you have to give out, and you're making so much margin on the 10, it's nothing. So that's the formula we use there for urgent offers. Now, in addition to that, the text that you have on your call-only ad, if you mention your state, county, or city on it, you're gonna get an even higher response rate from your ad and even greater ROI. So what I like to do is say, high-risk insurance Denver, or high-risk insurance Colorado, or Denver County. Given that the more specific you are, the higher the response rate, the more ROI you're gonna get. So if you can do a campaign for your entire state and get 1 level of return, you can do a campaign for each county that you're targeting, get another level of return. You can do a campaign for every city you're targeting and get another level of return. Why? Because when there's a bunch of stuff to decide to click on Google, and you have my city name on the ad, even if it's irrelevant, and I could get insurance anywhere, I'm gonna be more apt to click on that one. So, and then on top of that, if you want to make even more money, you have the phone number be local itself, a local phone number, local area code, local prefix on top of it, which is the second, third, 10-digit phone number. The prefix is the middle 3. This can be matching the user's location as well, and you'll get even higher response rates. They're going to know you're not messing around. You really are local for them in their city. So if I'm going to call anybody and maybe they'll serve my area, maybe they won't, I damn well know they're going to serve my area. So I'm going to put not only the city name in the ad, but a local phone number on top of it. And you can get local phone numbers for each target area that you're targeting through signing up for a simple call tracking account. I use CallRail, and just generating a number for that specific city that the user's in. And yes, it takes a lot of time to set up campaigns for each city, but the returns are absolutely astronomical when you do this and spend the time to help the user understand what they want you have and make it more easy to buy from you than anybody else, to know that you do it and you have the lowest rate. So that's the magic formula right there I would use. If you are in a market selling insurance that's more like transactional, they don't really they're not scrutinizing too much what it is that you have to offer. They just want the insurance right away, get it over with, okay? That, I would say, would be 5 to 10% of the insurance niches out there. The rest are going to go with regular search ads. So this would be like business insurance, anything to do with business insurance for the most part. Not always just all business insurance, but like group health insurance for employees, errors and omission insurance, that kind of thing. Or could be, if you're talking about consumers here again, like home flood insurance, like that. They're going to want to know a bit more about your company typically before they're going to be deciding to be willing to pull the trigger on doing business with somebody. And one of the main ways they do that is they do it by the look of your website. Just like we judge humans by what they're wearing, are they fat or not? No offense to anybody that's fat, but people judge people by their look all the time. The look of their face, if they're got an ugly face or not. They're going to judge all that to judge how credible you are as a person. People think people that are good looking are smarter, they are more trustworthy, which they shouldn't. They damn well shouldn't be doing that, but they do. You can look up the halo effect. It's very true. As it comes to your website, the look and feel of your website, they're going to judge your entire company and offer on the look of your website alone. They judge a book by its cover. And so if you want proper, return on investment on your Google Ads traffic, you need a decent website, and you need to be also using targeted landing pages. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a second. But with that said, similar to what I mentioned over here on this side with the urgent niches, you're going to want state level campaigns or city level campaigns for each larger metro area that you're targeting. So if you are doing errors and omissions insurance, you're going to want a separate dedicated campaign for every state that you're licensed in and targeting. Why? Because it makes a huge difference on your click-through rates on your ad when your ad says the name of the state that the user's in on the ad when they see it. It works even better to have their city name on the ad So what I'll typically do if a client, let's say, services 10 states, I will make a campaign for each state, and then all the bigger cities that is with at least 1 million people or more in terms of the entire metro, so LA Metro, Chicago Metro, whatever, I will have separate campaigns just for them because there's enough of an opportunity there that it's worth it to set up campaigns for each city by itself. If it's a high volume niche like life insurance, I'm gonna go ahead and not just do per 1 million plus population metro area, but I'm gonna go all the way down to 10,000 people. Why? Because people typically wanna go and deal with somebody local for something like that. And so in order to be successful there, I'm gonna say the exact suburb they're in, life insurance, and then their suburb, guaranteed lowest rate, or what have you. For that matter, you can be successful, by the way, not saying guaranteed lowest rate, because we've done this both ways itself. But, for the most part, when you're talking about these search campaigns here, you've got to set up what are called single keyword ad group campaigns, where you find the few hundred ways that people search for that flavor of insurance you offer, and then you set up unique ads for each variant. Somebody's typing in E&O insurance providers. You don't have something that says errors and omissions insurance. You have errors and omission insurance provider, exactly what they typed in. Why? Because it makes your ad the most obvious one to focus on and click on when you do that. Typically, you're going to get a click-through rate on your ad double what it would be otherwise. Then when you add in having the user city on the ad, or at least the state name, you're gonna get it to click-through rate to double again. So you could start out with an ad that would have gotten a 3% click-through rate, and now it has a 12% click-through rate because it has the keyword they exactly precisely typed into Google on the ad in the first part of the ad, and it has the state or city that the user's in, okay? With city being where you're gonna get the highest response rate of all because it's the most relevant ad you can run. For that matter, that flies in the face of what most people are honestly going to tell you about how to set up ads for your market. But, as I've talked about on this channel before many times, most of the people that you hear talking about how to run ads on this platform itself, YouTube, as well as online, it's coming from people who are content creators. They make money by making content. They don't manage ads. They don't know their ass from a hole in the wall, ultimately, honestly, about how to really dominate running ads in a competitive market like you're in. So don't listen to them. Find somebody who's an actual practitioner. Just like you wouldn't want to learn from somebody how to run an insurance business from somebody who's never ran an insurance business before. What would be the freaking point here? That's the same thing that happens in the ad space. And I spend 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm to find out what works. And I spend my weekends sharing what works. Nobody does that as far as I know. I have to work 70 hours a week to make this possible. So with that, you should subscribe to this channel. And if you want to become a multi-millionaire running ads for your business, this is how you're going to be able to do it. Maybe not overnight, but certainly you're going to be on that path to do it when you roll out the strategies that actually work for yourself and you let them mature and spool up and everything else for yourself, if you will. So subscribe if you haven't already while you're at it. I've got a secondary resource on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog where I document the strategies that are working for our clients and get to guarantee the results physically. You should check that out as well. It's a great way to get results for yourself because it has all the illustrations and everything else you would need to be able to do it. Going back to what I was saying here, now a few other things I would mention here. On both sides of the aisle here, as I mentioned here, I like to, in the insurance space by default, at least use exact match keywords. So you're not gonna put quotes around your keywords that you're targeting. You're not gonna put nothing around them. It's gonna be brackets only around the keywords, exact match. Why? Because especially in business insurance, it's tricky to get your ad to show up for people that are buyers. They have to type in like, at least the best of the best, like providers, agencies, quotes at the end of their keyword typically to do well, but depending on your niche market, it could just be E&O insurance. You can monetize that. That market specifically, we know it works. So what I would encourage you to do is start with the more verbose ones, people typing in like E&O insurance provider, E&O insurance agencies, E&O insurance quotes before just E&O insurance, if you will. But with that said, start out with just the exact match, or in other words, the keywords with the brackets around it. make your money there. Once you've made all your money that you can make there, go ahead and try phrase match, starting with the keywords that are the longest, the 4 and 5 word combination phrases, because they're the least likely to go off the rails for you and waste a bunch of money. And that's how you make the most without, versus going with phrase and broad match right away. And you may run out of money or get discouraged before you even get to profitability. And so it flies in the face of what most people do, which is they throw a bunch of stuff out there to see if it will work. And then that's it, versus being very conservative, get their ads to work on a small scale, and then go to town on it. Okay, because you're not going to run out of money and lose the game that way. So exact match only, at least to start. Anything that works on Google, by the way, is going to work on Bing.com. You can run and start up a Microsoft Ads account for yourself, run the same exact keywords and ads and everything that worked on your Google account on your Bing Ads account or Microsoft Ads account, and get another 25% more profit from your niche market, because there's very little competition on that platform, particularly in the insurance space. So that's just another little extra tip or hidden tip for you. Now, that said, there's some other stuff I want you to know, particularly with the landing page. I'm going to talk about some tricks on the landing page that we found that's going to help you make the most money with your insurance landing pages that you run with your search campaigns. Before I do though, I just want to say a lot of this stuff, I make it sound simple. I describe things so it is as simple as possible. But at the end of the day, the reality is it's a lot of work and tedious work to get things set up just right. So you will make millions of dollars from your ads and landing pages and your tracking and everything else. If you want somebody that will do this without question to make it profitable, reach out to me at my agency at GaryTPPC.com. We'll set it up for you. And we'll guarantee your results along with it. Before we ask for any fees on our end, we will make sure you get such and such results on your campaigns. I also, by the way, though, have ad templates. If you're in a niche market that our clients in, and in a market it's not competing directly with our client, you can use the templates we have already for your own business. And for that matter, if you're looking to even start a new business, the best, easiest way to do it is to take one of the ad templates that we know works to sell a product or service in another market and just start up and use that same ad template to generate leads and sales in that other niche market, and you have a business already. It's like having a business in a box. We've got 100 plus different niche markets where we've ran campaigns successfully, of which we can give you a list of all the markets we've been in, the results we got thereof, and you could have a second revenue source if you were looking for one. And then in addition to that, of course, if you just have one-off questions, you not only could just leave me a comment in the comment section, I get back to everybody who does, but also you could hire me for a coaching or consulting call, and I'll go through the specifics in your situation, exactly what I would do based upon how much money you have, based upon your value proposition you're offering in your market, and so forth. Going back to what I was about ready to say here, in terms of landing pages, I do want to tell you up front, 70% of the results you get, at least when you are looking at the ads and the landing pages itself, once the targeting is taken care of and that's out of the way, 70% of the results you're going to get is going to be based upon the skill of putting together that landing page versus the ad. Okay? Most people can put together an okay ad. Very few people can put together an excellent landing page because it's an art, and very few people you hire do it. There's a lot of people who say they can do it. Very few people that can actually do it well. They have a huge track record of doing and putting together landing pages that convert very, very well time and time again. There's a lot of people who can design something that looks nice, but it doesn't mean it's going to convert well. You need conversion rates in this space of at least 10% from click to lead to be able to make money. And that's just the way that it is. So for that matter, on your landing pages, I would first recommend you use dedicated city pages. So along with your campaigns and setting up different campaigns for different cities, different states, you're going to want your landing pages to be the same way. So that if they type in flood insurance, Dallas, their ad says flood insurance in Dallas, guaranteed lowest rate, whatever. And then they click, they go to your landing page, and the headline of that landing page says, we're an insurance agency. No, flood insurance in Dallas, guaranteed lowest rate. Exactly what was mentioned on the ad is on the landing page, so that people know you're not messing around. Too many people do this, and they expect their customers to jump through hoops to do business with them, and it's just dumb, frankly. Because people, even though an ad says something, they don't automatically assume you offer that unless you reconfirm to them on your website that you do that. Otherwise, they've seen a lot of ads before that were bait and switch. That's why it's like that. So you do that, and then similar to that, a couple other things here. One, you want to have some example quotes on your page. Why? Because people are focused on prices more than anything, and they hate the fact that they got to call the insurance agency to get a quote. So you may not be able to give them an instant quote, but you can at least give them a good idea before doing anything what the insurance costs. So what we'll have for our clients is I'll ask them, I'll say, what's the last 10 customers you worked with? What industry were they in? What was their name? And then how much did you quote them? And there might be some nuance there, like how many employees was it for or whatever. And then we put that into a table and we show that on our landing page so people can quickly see at a glance, oh, I have 5 employees. This other guy was quoted, $1,000 a month for 5 employees. So then that should be about what I should pay. Very few people in the insurance space do. And the customers absolutely love that because they love it, will increase your conversion rates sky high to where you may even have 20% of the people turning into a lead that hit your landing page. Or, if you're talking about somewhere like Medicare insurance, it could be, we've had as high as 30+% of the people who will fill out the form or call us to contact us. So there's that. But in addition to that, because people are so focused on the quote, bigger providers like Hillcox have done very, very well because they got an online quoting system to get an instant quote. That's pretty expensive and complicated to put together, to put a quoting engine directly on your landing page or on your website. But there is a hack or workaround to this that can make you a ton of money without having to spend and invest all that money to come up with your own quoting engine. And that is, you have what is known as a multi-step form on your website. And so what we like to do nowadays, we weren't doing this before, but this is super hot right now. It's super effective. You have a form on there that says, get a instant flood insurance quote, 60 seconds or less. And then there's a question, like a drop down that says, what's the price of your house? Or another lowball question. And then there's ranges there, 0 to 50,000, 50,000 to 100, whatever. They select that. And then you ask them a series of questions. And then once they get to the end, it says a flood insurance agent will be contacting you within the next 60 seconds to give you your final quote. That feeds into and sends a call automatically to the insurance agent with the data that they filled out. And then they give them the finished final quote there. Or of course, tell them like, hey, we could get you a quote. It's going to take us a bit more time. That's what you do. And then a software called CallDrip can make this possible. So when somebody puts their phone number in on that process that asks them, a few questions, and then they click next, and then the next few questions, at the end of it, it'll automatically call yourself or your agent. They'll answer the phone and it'll say, John Smith just filled out a quote request on your landing page. Press 1 to get in contact with John Smith. You hit 1, it automatically calls the person who just filled out the form, and so there's no lag time. So that's the way to do it. Now, basically, I could promise you all the big insurance companies out there, all the big mortgage companies, they're all doing this now. Why? Because form leads are so expensive, you can't screw around and call people 2 hours later, even 2 minutes later. You got to be calling people right away to get the full value of those leads. But so in addition to the actual example quotes, for them to get a good idea of what they're going to be paying, you let them know that you're going to be able to give them a quote without even having to call and talk to somebody that may be just hounding them a bunch of times, calling after I got the quote, because they have my damn phone number now. And if you do it in a way that I just mentioned, where you have a multi-step form where you ask them one question and then another versus all 30 questions you need all at once, they're more likely to finish it because they hate filling out forms. But if it's just a low ball, easy question that you are asking, it's pretty easy to get them to start. And once they started, they are not going to want to admit to themselves that they wasted their time, and they're going to be determined to make sure that they get their quote and they didn't waste their time and effort so far invested. So for that matter, I'm going to have my phone number on the site. I'm going to still let them call. That'd be dumb to try to send them through that form by itself, in my opinion anyway. You're not going to get as much profit from your leads. But then you also have this form itself that'll give them the quote that they want. And similarly, I would also have a regular form that says, contact us, and they can fill that form out. But then you also have this multi-step form as well. If you want the most results, add a thing that says, text us for a quote. A lot of people like to do that, and it gives them another option. You're also going to have live chat. So every person that has, because people have different preferred methods of communication. When you have more methods of communication, you get more leads. So if they want to live chat, they live chat. If they want to text, they can text, and so forth. But that's how you get the most out of your traffic. So if you want to convert 25% of the people who click your ad to turn into a lead, that's how you do it. For that matter, I would love to work with a insurance agency where we would provide all the ads, the ad spend, the expertise, the know-how to get the results that I'm talking about here, and then take a cut of all the revenue that we're generating, because insurance is so easy to make money in, yes, but I know the potential of this stuff long-term already. If you're interested in partnering with us, our agency, where we do that for you, and where you'll pay us a cut of your future revenue growth, we're willing to work with you as long as you have, you look like you're a clean operation, good reviews, have everything in line. We've partnered with several companies like this already where, ultimately we invest in the business up front and we get between 1% and 10% of their sales revenue moving forward on any sales growth the firm has or company has. And we make a ton of money doing it, and so does our client that we partner with. But we become actual equity owners in the company, and we do all the ads for the client, including juicing the ad spend at the beginning with our own cash. So if we're investing our money into the ad spend for you, we're not messing around. We know we're going to get results for you. If you're interested in that, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. As a side, if you're looking if you actually want to speak with other people who watch this channel, the like minds are people that watch this channel, our intelligence is above average. BS when you see it, and that's why you watch this and the content on this channel. If you want to talk to other people like yourself, we've got a Discord group where we all are talking. I've got that linked in the description of this video. Go ahead and go there. There's a free PPC course there that I've personally put together just as a way of attracting people to the group and saying thank you for joining the group itself. You could go there and get it. And I'm going to be releasing on an ongoing basis free courses on Google Ads, Facebook Ads, there, just to be able to get the group active and get people talking. If you're interested in that, check that out as well. But I'm going to wrap it up with that. Hopefully that made a lot of sense to you, everything I explained. Find out which side of the aisle you should be on, and then run with the campaign and set it up with all the level of detail I've mentioned. You will not be sorry that you did it. It may suck at the beginning, but it will absolutely be worth it once you do. Talk to you later.
Remember when I said Google Shopping was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.